Thank you, yeah.
We'll have to make bigger changes.
That doesn't pass, 10% of the expense budget has to come out of
Yeah.
departments.
But the department heads that did study the budget in the past, we appreciate that. But it's gotta be everybody now. It's gotta be the work.
Yep.
The
That's all I have.
budget is just a piece of paper today.
Yep.
It could change, just telling you that right now. I know traditionally, it's one budget, pretty well ran through the whole year. If the numbers, the revenue does not come in, we'll have to make a change. There's no more wiggle room. There's no more whatsoever fat to cut. It's,
We used most of our savings that we had built up.
yes.
There's
We
no
walk
more
the
room.
fine line to keep everybody employed and continue services for the citizens of Kennett. So, I do want to appreciate everyone's work into this budget. This is every committee, and especially the finance, put a lot of time into this, so. Any questions from the council? This will be a roll call vote. We're gonna start over here. Councilman Palmer,
What are we doing?
we're voting on the budget.
Oh, okay.
Roll call.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Approved. Good job, everybody. Thank you very much for the time spent. In your packet, you have a statement of revenue expenditures. We need to get approval of those or changes that we need to make. So is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. Also, in your packets, the bank balances. Do we have a motion to approve those? Motion.
Second.
Second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, that passes. As far as labor report, there's some issues, some housekeeping I would like to try to take care of. On the property maintenance lien fines. Does everybody have a copy of this?
No.
Okay, so currently, this is for when property maintenance writes tickets and the property's abated, and then we have to go mow the property or take care of the property. We charge a fee for that. Currently, our fee is $150 admin fee, and then we have a personnel cost, which is only the salary of the employee, no benefits, no anything, just salary. And then we have some very small numbers, weed eater, push mower rider, it's all in there, it's very low numbers. So what I propose for you all to think about or approve is continue the $150 admin fee, charge $100 per hour per man or woman, but per individual on the mowing crew that comes to the property and abates, takes care of the grass. And then there will be a $24 recording fee. My thoughts on this is that we're not providing services going to mow yards. This is kind of a punishment. This is something of last resort that we want to do. This keeps us in line and keeps our expenses and the cost just about balanced.
Depending upon how long it takes to get that cost back.
That's yes. And also, just for that information, there's $128,000 in total liens that we have outstanding currently through all the years, several years of doing this. So we're not getting anything back. Only if the property sells do we get it back. But still, we gotta have some recourse to try to attain this expenses.
Do we have any idea, I know there's not an average property, but is it a 2-hour project, or are they half a day, or does it take all day, or it just varies by property?
Residential house?
There's no way to know. It depends. Some are bigger than others, some are grown up more than others. Some have fences around them and obstacles to go around, so there's just no way to really tell.
Okay. So I added up all those little fees, and it's like $42 an hour, so out of that $100 an hour, if I read it correctly. And I'm just wondering if we're charging enough, even though if we're not collecting it. Pardon me?
That's the reason why those numbers are up from what we were definitely losing money before.
Yeah.
And we're not in the grass cutting business.
Now, I'm not opposed to increasing.
Yeah.
I think it should be. I mean,
Well, it needs to be calculated to recoup the expense, but you need to include everything, what expense is.
Yeah, if we're
What
not-
the actual expense is, not what their salary is, less any other benefits or anything like that, that should be calculated in there too, because that's an expense. That's part of the expense. So we just need to calculate something to recoup the expense the city has. And usually if you put the pencil to paper and you put all the factors in there that adds to the expense of mowing the yard, you're probably not charging enough.
Can we come up with a more accurate number before we decide?
Do that.
Sure.
That's why I wanted to offer this, just
Okay.
a recommendation, but the numbers that we're currently using, I don't know if anyone actually knows when they were put into effect. So we need to revisit, that's why I wanted to bring this up.
Where?
Table it and revisit.
You might also think about, everybody we do business with these days is charging a fuel surcharge. I've noticed we have on there for using the lawnmower, wear and tear on that, I'm assuming we don't have anything on for fuel. We might think about adding fuel as another line item on that.
You know, that's a valid expense. If it's a valid expense. it would be-
We're using weed eaters, lawnmower, blower occasionally, and truck to get there. So
Trailer,
we're using
tires.
fuel.
And another place we're losing money is the roll-offs,
Yes, we also have that next item.
based on what Keith gave us today.
So as far as property maintenance, we'll come back next meeting.
Okay?
It might be just one of the items we do next week.
Okay?
Right. The roll-offs, we discuss that. Currently, we are not breaking even with the roll-off dumpsters. And we're going out for bid, that doesn't affect this discussion we're having here. We need to go up with some charges, or prices for our charge.
When that was put in, which where Keith is, and we didn't go into it to even break even, we went into it to provide a service to try to get more trash picked up in the city. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't go up, that's not what I'm saying, I'm just saying when, in the beginning, it was put in to try to make it easier and, more appealing to take it down there than piling it up or taking it out in the county. It's, you know, definitely cheaper than getting a dumpster put in your yard, you know, and that type of stuff by any means. I mean, even a truckload is cheaper than that, you know, down here.
We did raise the prices for a while,
We did.
isn't that correct? And we found a
Yes, they've been raised twice and then lowered once from when it started.
Well, about 2 or 3 months into it, we raised it too.
Yeah, when it,
When it
yes,
first started.
yes.
But, you know, it was we looked at it as a service, and we're hoping to, some months break even, some months break even. I'm not opposed to raising it up, I just wanted to put that history out there.
And I don't think it should be a money-making venture for the city, just at least break even.
And what do we do with the money from that? It goes into the.
That money goes into the beautification fund and pays for the roll-offs.
It's kind of recycles.
And there are occasionally months that you'll make,
Yes.
there's a little bit of profit.
Yes,
But,
there
you
are.
know,
That is an average. If you average it out, that's the average cost of one for a month and the average cost to us for a month.
Does the big percent of that come in the spring?
It just depends, because a lot of landlords use them when people move out, so it can be, if you have several people move out, you know, in 1 month, it could be a busy month. It just depends.
You know, I guess one possible way, and it's been a while since I've been down there, is that we pay so much to have the roll-off moved, but then we're also paying tonnage on it. Is if we would eliminate concrete, there's a possibility down there, because occasionally, we used to get, not often, we would get somebody that would bring in, the patio had been broken up or something like that, and that adds a significant weight, you know, as far as the tonnage. But I mean, it would be hard to eliminate all heavy objects as far as I'm thing.
Or
We're gonna
may
have-
have a special charge for concrete,
Yeah.
have a concrete charge of, you know, X amount. I
Still
mean, there's no way to
acceptable,
weigh
but
it, so you
more.
would,
We still have to have a place to dispose concrete. Maybe
Yeah.
charge a little extra if it's,
I mean, I don't know how you would price it without being able to weigh it.
yeah,
I mean, you would have to,
that's something probably we'll have to revisit as well.
or just come up with a figure, you know, for a certain size truckload or trailer load or whatever, and just put a figure amount on it.
How about, Ms. Rushfield and I will get together, come back with good solid numbers for you, to see if you'd like to approve the new charges.
And we're gonna get those, rebid also.
Yes, sir,
correct?
that'll be getting rebid, so they might be cheaper,
Might
but
be cheaper.
we'll just go with the numbers we got now for that. We can always readjust. Okay, so let's roll off dumpsters, property maintenance changes. We'll do more housekeeping is, the council committee assignments. I need to adjust those. Councilman McEwen has not been attending any of the meetings or council meetings. I would like to remove him from the Humane and the Senior Citizen Committee. Councilman Swain has put a lot of work in the Humane. I would like to present him as chairman and put Councilman Gaddis on that committee. Also, I'd like to appoint Councilman Waynick to the Senior Citizen Committee. So just a little bit, just removing the name and adding.
He's experienced with it too.
I'm gonna ask about that.
Motion.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Any discussions regarding this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Linda, can you send us an email with how many members then you?
It's just the Senior Citizen and Humane is the main, are the two committees affected. I'm not sure everything has been covered. Yes, I did. Anyone here tonight want to, public comments? Yes, sir. Please come and state your name and your address, please.
Vernon Lowe, 204 South Walnut. I attended some of the finance meetings, y'all remember?
Yeah.
Looking for ways, for the budget, how to make the budget fit, how to lay out the budget. Has the city considered selling any properties that we don't need?
Yes, a lot of properties we don't need.
I also had the idea of fuel, if the city could actually have its own fuel supply. Instead of going to gas stations here in town paying $3.20 one day, $2.80 the next, such as what happened over the Memorial Day weekend. Wednesday before, it was $2.99 that morning, but that couple hours it was already $3.20. And those are busy weekends for police and fire. And so what I'm saying is that I could actually, call around and say, hey, do y'all, what city do you use your own fuel service? How much do you save? What kind of fuel do you get? How much your contract for? Things like that, and see if it is feasible for us to do that. Because any citizen can get say a Hux app, and get 10 cents off a gallon, the city can't do that. So, we're talking, possibly quite a bit of savings involved in that. And if anything, if we don't need an underground tank, get an above ground tank with the proper permits, and then, see what happens. The initial cost might be a little high, but the gas savings overall, because Iowa Patrol gets gas at the MoDOT building on bypass. The state's been doing that. Matter of fact, I called Highway Patrol today. They got me in touch with their vehicle division. Of course, there's nobody to speak to it, but they're supposed to call me back about that. So that's something the council would want to consider.
We considered that before, and probably fill us in on some of
We're
that.
putting, Arnold's Station in, down close to Fifth Street. And we felt like that the 4 to 6 year payback probably wasn't worth it. Recently, we looked at purchasing, from MFA, the old green Griffin Oil Company, and they were interested in doing that for us, but we have considered trying to do that. But, several years ago, when I was more familiar with the environmental regulations and everything, we were looking at a minimum of 4 to 7 year payback.
So,
This idea though also includes, city of not gas and water.
right, you know, all city vehicles, there's a lot of city vehicles.
And they haven't had a change
That's what we were
in,
gonna do with the Griffin property.
Right.
change in leadership though at that area, and that may change their mind on wanting to be involved in that.
Yeah, and the other question is that do we still pay the federal tax that every gas, everybody gets gas rates? Do we pay the state tax? If we can get by without paying 34 cents a gallon, that's a huge savings for a year. I mean, that's a lot of
We
savings.
get the state tax back.
So there's, I don't see why it couldn't be really looked at and say, hey, at least I mean, it's,
It's a little legwork into utility, deal with
I'll be
that.
glad to do that. We've heard as much as 45 cents a gallon savings.
I mean, that's, yeah, and when you take a patrol car, for instance, that drives, say, 75 miles in one shift, it's a lot of gas. That's a lot of money, it's a lot of wear and tear. Plus we get, you know, fuel that we trust instead of fuel from somewhere we got gas and fuel. Mess up, you know, real close. So I think it's worth, at least worth it.
Councilman Bob, are you gonna take that up?
Yes, sir.
The other question I had was, there was talk of, the paramedics on fire department. My question is, does the city bill, when they make a run to, say, a residence or whatever, and that person has insurance, does the city bill insurance for the service we provide to at least stabilize for EMS or for the hospital?
No, we did not bill.
Excuse me?
We did not bill, no, sir.
Is that something we can look into, because other towns do that?
We'll have to get that information.
Yeah,
Because we're not presenting, prepared to.
Yeah, that is a big part of the budget. I mean, it's $300-something thousand. And you can bill insurance for, say, just the run itself to stabilize. I know I pay for it, because we don't have a hospital. I'd rather, if EMS can't make it, send me a medic, bill my insurance, and be done with it. I mean, that's just a cost assessment.
But we can get this information.
Right.
So if you're
Right.
not able to find it tonight, we can let you know.
Right. The other was with, there was talk about cutting the lawnmower out of the $70,000 expense per month. And the idea I have is that, since like when you come into Kennett, the property there, which is 412 East, MoDOT, I know we mow, there's something you said about an agreement with MoDOT about mowing, what have you. So I had the idea of, why don't we give the Department of Conservation and say, hey, what can we do, say, plant native grasses or flowers or whatever else, and help beautify the city and not mow property, not spend time on gas, you know, paying $70,000 a year. So I spoke to him, to NBC up in Oak Rock. They have a community forester that I can contact. They can come up with a plan for the city, say, here's what your needs, what areas are you talking about, and this is what I can suggest to you. And then say you plant perennials, that seed and flower every year. You wouldn't have to maintain that property other than the beautification makes the city look better, regardless if it's somebody passing through or a business looking to come here, you know, something like that. That's something worth, I mean, if you don't want to explore that, that's fine, but.
I would suggest, I'd like to have you come to the Stormwater Street Committee meeting, and we can discuss that, because we have issues with the mow crew and things like that right now.
Yeah.
And that might be a good way to, our mow crew is gonna have to be directed towards stormwater type things only, and that may be a good idea to help us out with that. So if you would, attend that meeting, street storm.
Yeah, because see, I've been overseas, and I've been to countries where you go into a city and they have beautification when you enter the city, and it's just an awe, and then you see some cities that they don't do anything, you're like, well, you know, what kind of town am I driving into? But if you take the time to promote Cheryl Grove in it, but don't really mow, but you can plant flower, you do whatever to increase the beautification, you get different than you do the city.
Thank you.
No, one more thing, we had talked about loggers at one point about the city getting the money back. Talked to Miranda at Loggers, she does the city's loggers account. If there was any way the city could get money back from that, if a person's not vested in 5 years, or, you know, they up and leave and they don't cash out or they don't take benefit. The problem with that is that the person can come back, say 10, 20, 15 years from now, and get their 5 years vested and get their benefit. One thing I did find out that I did not know was, such as the case when we had a police officer pass away. He did not have a spouse or a minor child for that money to go to from loggers. What Miranda said was that that money goes back into the city's retirement account that covers everybody. So it's not just somebody can come in and take the money and go, or if something happens to them, what happens to our money that we put in? Well, that's put back in for everybody. And that was something that I thought was, you know, actually great, that most of it's sad that unfortunately there was nobody to give it to. Such as with Robert Moore passing away. His minor children got to get his waters, which in my opinion as a retired employee is where it should have been. The good thing is that if there's not a lot of turnaround retirement, then Miranda told me that it's not short term, but in long term, what we have to contribute will actually go down. So if you don't have the high turnover, if you don't have a lot of retirees, then instead of paying 11%, say in 3 years, we pay 10% or 9%, which is a lot of money. So that's, you know, what I took from that conversation with Robert today. So, and other than that, the only other question is, as far as getting money, is there any way we can increase permits, cost of permits, and also giving out action reports, fines? I know there's the Ferguson effect, you can only do so much, but are we doing it, are we taking every max down that we can to help fund the city?
Well,
Because with the people, you know, I know people don't want to be taxed, things like that, but if we can't do it that way, then, you know, try and raise the money somehow, some way, whether it be for littering or, you know, whatever. Raise that cost a little bit, help us offset a person's time, gasoline, you know, things like that, that, you know, we really should be calling that money back how much we can.
well, the reason we are not looking into that, at least what I understand we're not looking into it, is we have more of a spending, we had more of a spending problem than we had a revenue problem.
Right, that's correct.
And so we're going to contain the spending and get us back on track, rather than nickel and diamond our citizens. I don't like permit fees and things like that. I'd rather, we made a promise 10 years ago, we're gonna go to the sales tax to get rid of that. I don't like going back on promises.
Right, but we risk it at the risk of running people off the city. It's just something to consider that, hey, if it gets bad enough, this is what we need to do to try and keep the city alive, not lay off, you know.
Well, your main item of problem is gonna be August 8th. If August 8th, the capital improvement tax is not passed, you're laying off a lot.
Right, exactly right. So plus we also have the, I think, 3% marijuana tax to come up next year in April. That's something that needs to be passed. For citizens, whether they know it or not, it needs to be passed. If there's a public safety tax, it needs to be passed. One thing that keeps this city alive is the police, the fire, the medical, and hopefully hospitals, and bring back industry that this town started down a long time ago, and we're almost dead.
In the street now, you know, we all work together, like good person.
Exactly. So that's just my thoughts about it during the finance committees and stuff, just trying to do what we can.
Appreciate you. Thank you. And we'll get some answers.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Hi, Matt Jackson. I just wanted to come up, I had a comment about the compost facility. I use the compost quite a bit and take limbs out there, we've taken a lot of limbs. My wife made me cut every tree in almost the neighborhood down. And a lot of other things, we use it a lot. And I'm gonna get up and be sure and beat the rush of comments. I think raising the prices is a great idea. Whatever we need to do to keep that facility, I wouldn't bother me a bit to pay more out there. And right now, I've busted up part of our driveway. I've been taking concrete out there. Mark bumped it up a little bit because of the weight of the concrete, and I would have been happy to pay more a little bit, because the other option is, I don't know what the other option is.
So you're the problem.
This is in the bag.
That would be a problem.
Still want to do the right way to get it out.
Getting compost and mulch out there. That's very good compost and very good mulch. And $6 a scoop. It's basically giving it away. We might even think about raising the price of that. I think it's going for $30 a scoop anywhere else. And I know when we went, I'm gonna have to get a couple of scoops of compost. And Mark said it was all sold. Somebody from out of town came in with a big truck and bought every bit of it. And I would gladly pay personally, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I'd gladly pay $10, $15 a scoop for that. And if it's somebody from out of town, maybe they can even pay a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Well, when you write your check, just bump it up a little bit.
Well, I feel bad doing that. I like to play by the rules. You set the rules. I'll play that. But I just want to say, I use compost quite a bit, and I speaking for myself only, obviously, think that the raising the prices, whatever we need to do to keep that, I think it's a great service. I know it's not trying to make money off of it, but whatever we need to do to keep it out there, because I've used it quite a bit, and I shudder to think what I would have to do if we didn't have it. It's not another good option.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, let's close it up.
I have a piece of information,
Go for it.
okay? You may recall a few weeks back, I mentioned that Carolyn and Charles Ellis were planting close to an acre of wildflowers up on North Van Deventer, and they have started opening. It's really exciting. I think next week they may really be open, but there's a few blooms now. They're on North Van Deventer across from the Willoughby School and Park. It's next to the big green building that she's using as a trash headquarters. And then on Varner Street and a few on North Baldwin. And they've been fertilizing and watering those flowers, and it's just going to be so pretty. And I just wanted people to know that that's happening. And, you may want to drive by in the next week or two and have a look. And she's got all kinds of other plans that we'll be hearing about soon.
Good. Yes, ready to hear. All right, before closing, I just want to give some more information for the public. You've heard a lot tonight of spending, and this is just housekeeping for the fiscal year. This is a proven continuation of services or whatever it may be, but we spent a lot tonight, but you'll see that stop after this evening. It's just housekeeping we have to do on a yearly basis. Seeing there's nothing else for the council, we will need to go into a closed meeting to discuss personnel for a grievance hearing. So we'll need to have a motion to go into the closed session. So we'll have a second. We have a second. It will need to be a roll call vote. We'll start with Councilor Driver.
The first meeting first.
Yes, we'll need to adjourn the first meeting. Let's just say that means adjourned.
Make a motion,
The motion's already made and you're
okay,
voting.
aye.
Yes.
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 We're gonna take a 10-minute break. Audience, appreciate y'all being here tonight.